My name is Malcolm Rogers. I'm the CEO of National Business Development Group. I'm coming to you guys today to speak to you about actually how to start a business legally. There's a lot of companies out there who have side hustles, things that bring in a little bit of cash, which is great. It's actually how I started off, a combination of my businesses. But one of the good things that you want to do, and the reason why you want to establish a business is, of course, is that you want the recognition from the financial institutions, but also it's a lot of advantages to actually having a legalized business within your state, as well as once you establish a business, it's a lot of things that you don't know that you're missing out on as far as leads, advertisement, as well as opportunities. Before we get into it, one of the good things for myself that just happened is that we just came out with The Foolish Entrepreneurs is a book that I speak about a lot of my experience and research. I studied just businesses in total for about 3-4 years, and what made them different and successful. I have a lot of my personal stories in this book, as well as just a lot of facts and information in here. This is not a one-time read. It's a reference book that you guys will be able to continue to learn from as you go through the life cycle of actually owning the business. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into it. Now, when it comes to establishing your business, a lot of people overlook a lot of pre-steps that need to happen before you legalize it. Step number one will actually be that you have to do your research. Research. A lot of people say, well, I just don't know what to look up. And it's quite simple. What you need to be looking up before you start your business is, who are your competitors? What are their strengths? What makes your company different than theirs? It doesn't have to be something that's just very unique. You can just time something perfectly that you see that your competitors don't have, that you can bring to the table or bring to the market quicker than they can get a change. Usually with bigger companies, it takes them years to make the smallest change, because every change that they make is $1 million change. But with smaller companies, they're more agile and can adapt to the market or the economy a little bit quicker. So you want to make sure that you take advantage of that. So once you're doing what's called a SWOT analysis, you want to look at price points, you want to look at location, you want to look at demographics, you want to look at income levels, you want to look at everything to get a better feel for who your customer will truly be, so that when you put your product or your service out there to the market, you know exactly where to place it. You don't want to put a great product in a target market that does not need it nor require it. Then your business is going to fail. You're going to eventually go back out of business. Nor do you want to put out a product or service that no one wants. You want to make sure that there's a demand for your business. What I advise a lot of people to do, my specific clients, is let's do some surveys. You can use SurveyMonkey. Just go ask these people who you think are your target market, is there a need for what I want to bring to you? Would you want this? How much are you willing to pay for it? Is it things about your competitor that you don't like? And people will honestly tell you, yeah, I'll pay for it. I'll pay an extra $20 if I can just get this convenience of this service. You want to start your business off not just with an idea, but actually facts that will help you continue to grow your business and carve out some of the market share. The next thing you want to do once you have this done is, number two, create a business plan. What I recommend to people is you actually go to SBA and you look up their business plan. It's simplified. They ask you a combination of questions that you answer. And what it does is help you identify areas that you have not fully taken a detailed dive into. It is key. What a business plan is for an entrepreneur is actually a blueprint. You don't want to start to build a building without having a blueprint to know exactly what the end structure will look like. It's the same thing with a business. If you don't know exactly what you're doing, your price points, how you're going to position it, how you're going to display your product or services, then you're walking into it blind. I call it smoke and mirrors. You look in the mirror, you think you look good, you remove all the smoke and you look and say you look a hot mess. You don't want to be doing that, because first impression is everything. So once you get a customer the first time, one of the biggest compliments to a business is actually referrals. Getting people to refer your business is the cheapest way, just doing your job and doing it well. Once that's completed, you really want to dive into the financial piece. This is an area that a lot of people stray away from. I'm a mentor. You can come to my company, National Business Development Group. We help you guys plan that out, let you know if your business is feasible. Or I'm actually a mentor for a non-for-profit called SCORE, which is set up by the government, and they'll look at it for free. And we do these services to help these entrepreneurs out. Again, it's called SCORE, SCORE. We'll look into your business plan and let you know if it's feasible before you go to the bank and try to get this funding. We want to make sure that we pinpoint any areas that we think you may have overlooked before you get to the point of actually opening up your business. The next thing you want to do, which is step 3, so you want to go ahead and establish what this document does for you. If you're going to have partners, It lets everyone know what their role is. I can't tell you how many people I deal with and they want to dissolve the business. And what happens is that everyone's not on the same page. Some people want to keep it open, some people want to close it down, and it creates chaos. If you legally take the step and establish what everyone's role is in the business, it's going to help you prevent bottlenecks when it comes to decisions, saying you want to expand into a certain category, but everyone else is not on the same page. Knowing how much voting leverage that one member has compared to another one, that is very important to the business. Knowing, again, when we grow, who has what percentage. And when you're doing these articles of organization, what you also want to get is called an LLC kit. If you're going to take an LLC, inside of this kit is going to have documentation that I want to recommend you fill out. But the number one important thing is how to this document, which I'll have for you in the next video. It's going to have actual stock certificates, and you're going to have an official stamp for your business. What this does is, if I have 100% today and I bring in a partner who's going to be a silent partner and they give me $50,000 and they say $50,000 is equivalent to 50% of your business, Malcolm, I will write them out stock, stamp it and say, now you own 50% of the business. Here is 50,000 shares of my stock, depending on how many shares my company actually has. This is very vital, and I recommend that everyone get it. It's so many companies out there that don't have an LLC kit. Everything is done word of mouth. They miss so much documentation because they're trying to do things from a side hustle. But it's time for us as entrepreneurs to make that business pivot and legalize what we're doing to make sure that we are accredited and accreditable to these financial institutions. Once you get these first 3 steps done, again, number 1, doing your research. Number 2, getting your business plan set up. Number 3, getting your articles of incorporation set up. Then you want to go ahead and search Secretary of State within the state that you'll be operating in, and then search business services. Once you get to the business services page, they'll have a combination of different business structures, from LLCs to S Corps, C Corps, sole proprietorships, whatever's your specific preference. If you don't know, I say seek legal advice. I do have information within the Foolish Entrepreneur that you can look at to go over the high level advantages and disadvantages. One of the things that you want to be mindful of is the way that you initially set your business up is not the way that you have to stay throughout the life cycle of your business. Businesses tend to grow, they tend to get a little smaller over time, so you may go from an LLC to an S Corp, and then you get bigger and go to a C Corp, et cetera, et cetera. Again, I would advise for you to seek legal advice. LegalZoom is a good source for you guys to go to as you make those transitions. Once you get on the site, it is some pricing to get it done. I know in the state of Illinois, it's about $150. You get it back within, I want to say, 2 weeks. And if you want to get it expedited, you can get it within 24 to 48 hours, which is great. It's an extra cost to get it expedited. It depends on how fast you need it. A lot of companies don't truly fully establish their business until they get a contract in place, which is fine. But I always recommend that if you have this idea that you're going to have a business in the future, go ahead and establish it. That way you're already building tenure, because a lot of the requirements that the banks or other companies requires that you have 2 years in business, and they really just solely look at this site to see when were you established, although you might not have been operating. Once you get this documentation done with the LLC and you process everything through your Secretary of State, the next thing you're going to need is to go to the IRS. And you can just Google this IRS EIN number. It is free of charge. You do not want to pay anybody to do this. You put in the same identical information that you just put on your Secretary of State site. Once you get completed with that, just push submit. They're going to automatically generate your EIN number. So you're going to have it on the screen, and then you can email it to yourself. And that's it, guys. You'll go ahead. You'll be legally set up on paper to fully operate a business. If you're uncomfortable with this, again, you can reach out to my company directly. We help companies set this up. It's National Business Development Group. You can find us online at nbdgconsultants.com. And that's it for today, guys. Next week, I'll be having combination videos, and I look forward to getting more questions as we go along with this. Thanks.